afternoon. I'm Sean Yao, and this is One News Now. Malacanang maintains that President Duterte did not violate any law for receiving Sinopharm's vaccine. Maricel Halili joins us live from Mandaluyong to discuss this more. Hi, Mase. How did the FDA and Malacanang explain around this issue, and why did the president get inoculated with Sinopharm?
First, Sean, President Duterte explained that the reason why he was inoculated with Sinopharm is because this is the advice of his doctor. During the Facebook Live of his former aide, Senator Bongo, last night, the president himself explained that he asked his doctor to assess the different brands of vaccines, and he said that his doctor advised him that it's okay to use Sinopharm. But as we all know, Sinopharm still has to get its emergency use authorization from the Food and Drug Administration, because up until now, the FDA has only issued compassionate use permit for the usage of the Presidential Security Group. And so FDA, if you recall, has approved compassionate use permit for 10,000 doses of Sinopharm. This is where President Duterte get his jab last night. But it's a bit delayed because if you recall, FDA has already approved the compassionate use permit for Sinopharm. I think that was 3 months ago. It was delayed because of the problem on supply.
All right, so apparently there is still supply. Now, Mase, what would be the context behind the palace spokesman's remark that Sinopharm should have an agent here in the Philippines? Does he mean like a local partner for distribution and importation?
I understand that there are already two groups who already applied for the EUA of Sinopharm. They already asked FDA for the EUA for Sinopharm. Unfortunately, the data that are acquired by the FDA is not yet sufficient. This is the reason why the FDA has not yet approved its EUA. And this is also the reason why Secretary Roque said that it will be more advisable if they have agents here in the Philippines for faster approval of its EUA.
All right, thanks for clarifying that. Moving on to another topic now, this time on foreign affairs. What did DFA Secretary Teddy Locsin Jr. or why did he apologize to the Chinese envoy for his Twitter outburst? Did the president or anyone in the palace tell him to do so?
Secretary Roque clarified that the president did not order Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin to ask for an apology to Chinese government. This is following his remarks on his Twitter account, asking the Chinese military to get off our territory. Well, there's nothing wrong if we ask the Chinese military to pull out their vessels on the disputed area. But Malacanang feels that it is foul to curse the Chinese government. And this is the reason why Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin asked for an apology. And following this statement coming from the DFA, President Duterte met with Secretary Roque last night. And Secretary Roque said that the president made it clear that nobody from the cabinet is allowed to curse other officials, especially if they're referring to or they're talking about anything in the field of diplomacy. He said that it is only the president who is allowed to curse, and cabinet secretaries are not allowed to curse anyone, especially that, well, they are the president's alter ego.
All right, noted on who and who cannot curse there in cabinet meetings. Mase, President Duterte also talked about the complete lifting of quarantine restrictions. What will be the factors to be considered before this actually happens? I'm sure there's a lot.
Yes, there's a lot. Actually, their basis is still the same. Number one, they want to make sure that we have enough bed capacity, especially on ICU. Well, aside from the isolation bed capacity on hospitals, we have to make sure that we have lower hospital utilization rate. That's number one. And of course, number two, we have to consider the R0. and the daily attack rate, particularly on areas like the NCR plus. So these are some of the considerations by the government before easing the restrictions on the quarantine.
All right, thank you for all those updates. Maricel Halili joining us live from Mandaluyong. Thanks, Maset. And here are other stories we're keeping our eyes on. Former Supreme Court Associate Justice Antonio Carpio disputed the president's remark that he never discussed the West Philippine Sea during his campaign. Carpio said that denying his support for the 2016 Hague ruling would mean that the president fooled the Filipino people to get votes. The Philippine College of Physicians says they are prepared to take action against their members who participated in the recent distribution of anti-parasitic drug ivermectin. Prescriptions from the ivermectin pantry were merely written on sheets of paper and did not contain names, license numbers, and the professional tax receipt numbers of the doctors involved. And in sports, NLEX Road Warrior guard Kiefer Ravena became the first Filipino ambassador for the iconic Jordan brand. The Phenom joins a star-studded roster of endorsers from the NBA and WNBA like Chris Paul, Jason Tatum, Aisha Durr, and Kia Nurse. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. Mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Sean Yao. We are One News.